I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. It's time!
It's Sunday, September 18th, 2022. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 136, Sandhagen versus Song recap. After that, we jump to some MMA news, and then the UFC is taking a week off. No fight card next weekend. But before we talk about all that, Tabor, where do we begin?
With the social media accounts, Mason, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, guys, all the same at the Church of MMA. If you aren't following us already, make sure you go and do it. We're posting funny memes, trying to make you guys laugh. Make sure you hit us up there. We're also posting shorts and TikToks constantly here, not only here on YouTube, but our TikTok as well, guys. So if you guys see those, share those on your social media accounts. Share our posts. Share everything on social media accounts, guys. Share this live stream on your social media account. It really does help push the algorithm up, helps us get views, and it grows the congregation. So thank you so much for each and every single thing you guys do already.
Tremendous.
We also have YouTube memberships. If you are not a member already, drop down below and join the membership. $3 a month gives you exclusive content. Also gives you emojis, exclusive emojis that only members can use in the chat, and it gives you a plaque. What would you even call that? Like, it's like
you would call it a badge.
A badge, that's
Yeah,
right.
a
A badge by
nice
your
little
name.
badge.
Level yourself up. You start off as a white belt, and as you continue on, you become a blue belt, et cetera, et cetera. We do have a couple of brown belts right now, but who will be that very first black belt? It's looking like it's going to be Cosmo. Cosmo, what is up, my guy? You're already here in the chat. It says, evening, boys.
Hey, what's up, Cosmo?
Lamza is also in the chat. Lovely, planning on going for a walk. I'll plug in and listen to you guys. Thanks. Great watch along last night. Thanks. Thank you so much for showing up last night, Lamza. Appreciate the fuck out of that. What did you guys think about that fight card last night? It was a lot of fun. Let us know down in the chats if you were in the fight companion and you watched all of that. Let us know what you guys thought of the fight card as of last night. But yeah, you guys, we did do a fight companion last night. It was a lot of fun. Shout out to Adelia, Jimmy, and Logan for being on the podcast. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, good time. Good time. That 3 hours went by pretty fast.
It really did. It really did. It's weird because these fight companions have been getting over with quickly.
Yeah, they have.
Like there was some times where we were doing like 5 hour long fight companions.
I know, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, well, ESPN has quickened it up just a little bit. Thank goodness for that. But, yeah, it was great night of fights. Did you guys see, before we jump into the actual recap, did you guys see the photo of Rodriguez? Did you see the gash on his forehead after in the aftermath?
Doctor
after the
Strange?
fight?
Yeah, I seen it.
Oh, my goodness. There was like tendons and like ligaments and veins in his head. I mean, you saw it all. It was all the way down to the bone, dude. That was wild. What a gash.
It was pretty gross. What was worse, that gash or the Sandhagen one?
Oh, the Rodriguez one was worse. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Songs was deep, but it was over the brow at least. The one that Rodriguez had was straight across his head, and you could see bone. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Rodriguez. Unanimous decision there.
I think the placement makes it worse. Yeah. I would agree with that. Cosmo said, pretty decent card. Rodriguez versus Ninjakuni. I always fuck that guy's name up. Got fight of the night. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely agree with that. Let's just hop right into it, guys. Main event of the evening, as always. Start at the top. Song Yadong, Cory Sandhagen. Beautiful main event, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. This fight went down exactly how we thought it was going to go down. It was entertaining and it was fun. Song Yadong, again, the movement, the speed is all there. The power is there. I thought he had a power advantage over Cory Sandhagen. But the thing is, you can never take away the technicality that Cory Sandhagen brings to the table, the way that he's able to strike, the way he's able to move, and just outpoint Song Yadong. And, he was going for a lot of takedowns. He was trying to implement that. I know his camp was working on that extremely hard, that whole fight camp. But it wasn't that successful in the early rounds. I thought it did a little bit better as the fight went on. But nonetheless, a great fight.
Yeah, it was a really good fight. And I think, it was pretty apparent the Song was like trying to push the pace. Like he was marching Sandhagen down most of that fight. But even though he was landing power shots, it just wasn't enough. I mean, Sandhagen was so technical. He was so complete with his game last night. Like, he was not only outstriking Song, but he was landing more damage, even though he didn't have the more powerful shots. Like, that cut that he got with that elbow was fucking disgusting. Yeah. Some of those elbows that he was landing, those knees that he was landing, absolutely incredible. There was a lot of blood last night, man.
Yeah. No, there was a ton of blood. The octagon was completely covered in blood, which was pretty cool. Yeah, man. Do we have we got to spell, we got a, Sandhagen spelt wrong on the, on the thing. I can't help but notice that.
Is it?
It's Sagan, E-N. So in Yadong song, I love it. We're saying his name backwards now. Yadong song, baby.
Yadong sung a song.
Yadong
Did
song.
you guys see that meme where it was, because the fight ended, obviously, doctor stoppage after the 4th round going into the 5th, and Cory Sandhagen just dropped straight down to his knees. There was a meme. It was a picture of when you get done beating Yadong for 4 rounds, and it was Cory Sandhagen just exhausted on his knees.
Yeah, I saw that. It was pretty funny. It's good humor right there.
Yeah.
But,
there's a reason why they don't put Yadong up there for his name anymore.
Yeah,
There's
you know,
too
I
many
think,
memes.
in all seriousness, no, I think, you know, Song Yadong definitely deserved this fight, and I'm glad that he got it, and he looked good for what he was able to do with it. But what I have to say on the side of Cory Sandhagen is Sandhagen is the elite of the elite in this bantamweight division. You know, yeah, he did barely lose to TJ Dillashaw, barely lost to Petr Yan, but he still deserves that top contender status in this division. My biggest question now is, like, what do we do with Cory Sandhagen? We do have some news that we're going to jump into later on. A big bantamweight just ended up retiring. It was just announced this morning or yesterday. We will get into that. But, I mean, what do you see in the future of both of these fighters, Tabor?
The Sandhagen one is difficult. I don't know. I'm glad that they did the Song Yadong fight. They really pushed him down. You know, I mean, Song Yadong was only 10 in the world coming into this matchup, and Cory Sandhagen is a top 5 guy. And, you know, you got to think also the long wait in between fights for Sandhagen. Like, his last fight was Yan. That was a title fight. That was in October of 2021. So he almost took a full year off before this matchup ended up happening. So, I mean, what do we do with Sandhagen? I don't know, dude. Like, let's look at the rankings real quick. Like, I mean, you could do maybe Merab Dvalishvili. You could do maybe Trito Vera. You could do Pedro Munoz. Like, does he go right into a top 5 matchup with a victory like
So
that?
I think realistically, that is the fight that I want to see the most in this. Either one of two ways. You could go Marlon Chito Vera again, or you could do Merab Dvalishvili at 3. Merab's 3, Chito's 5, Cory's 4 after beating number 10. I'm sure he'll stay at 4. And I would love to see him versus Merab. I think that would be an absolutely awesome fight. That could be a title eliminator. And also on the side of Aljamain Sterling, you know, in my personal opinion, I don't know if he's going to get past TJ Dillashaw. That's a very, very tough fight. You also have Petr Yan in the wings taking on Sugar Sean O'Malley, which if Sugar wins that fight, title shot. But if Petr Yan wins that fight, I don't know if Petr Yan is guaranteed a title fight after beating Sugar Sean O'Malley. So that's what I want to see for this division. I would like to see Cory Sandhagen, Merab Dvalishvili, and then the winner of that, if Aljamain Sterling loses his belt to TJ Dillashaw and Merab ends up beating Cory Sandhagen, you could have a situation where it's Merab versus TJ, which would also be a phenomenal fight.
Okay. I would agree with everything you just said. And I really like the Merab fight. Definitely is one that I'm going to be asterisking. I would not be shocked if that fight gets made in the next 6 months. But Ant W said Rodriguez's cut, 10-8 Song's cut. Was that cut bad enough to stop the fight? Because they did stop it in the 4th round. Like, let's talk about that a little bit.
I think his eyebrow was pretty much hanging off of his off of his face. So yeah, I could say that maybe the fight needed to be stopped. I'm not overly upset about it. It also wasn't going Song's way the longer the fight went on. I had it on my scorecard 3-1 for Sandhagen, and I just didn't see Song Yadong knocking him out in the 5th round. However, I know Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman. I understand that, guys. But the way the fight was going, I thought it was going to be all Sandhagen. I figured the fight would end 4-1. And that gash was bad. And Song Yadong came out after the fight and said he couldn't see out of that eye.
Oh,
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. Yeah.
So he couldn't even see out of that eye. So I am glad that the doctor stopped the fight, and I think it was an appropriate thing to do.
Okay. Yeah. With that coming into question, absolutely, 100%. But I mean, there are times like, yeah, you never know. Like, what if Song just went out there and landed the right fucking hook from hell and knocked him out? So
you never know.
It is unfortunate that Song didn't even get the opportunity to try and get like the chance there. But yeah, if he can't see, man, it is what it is.
Yep.
You know, we can't all be Bisbing out there just lying, saying that everything's fine, and meanwhile, you're literally blind in one eye. You know?
Bisbing's a different animal. That's
absolutely
for sure.
Different breed for sure. Shout out to Kevin. Afternoon, everybody.
Hey, what's up,
shout
Kevin?
out to AW as well. Cejudo versus Sterling. TJ winner. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a decent one. Cejudo comes back, immediately gets a title shot. Cheeto versus Yan Sean winner.
Sandhagen
Marab.
That's something we haven't talked about much, and that's Triple C, Henry Cejudo himself. Now, we do know that Henry Cejudo is back in the testing pool. Now, I actually love this theory, and now that he brought it up, I just want to go into it. This would be the perfect entry point for a Henry Cejudo to come in and get an immediate title shot, even in a stacked bantamweight division. Let me explain to you why. You have TJ Dillashaw versus Aljamain Sterling. If TJ Dillashaw gets past Aljamain Sterling, you try to tell me after the EPOs and all of the shenanigans and the cheating that was involved between Henry Cejudo and TJ Dillashaw and the first round knockout, this is the one circumstance where I feel like Henry Cejudo could slot his way right back in and get an immediate rematch and title fight against TJ Dillashaw for the undisputed bantamweight belt. I actually love that idea. And I would be fine with it because, you do have Merab in the wings. You have Cory Sandhagen. But Cory has gotten multiple opportunities now. I would say interim opportunities. And, Merab Dvalishvili, I don't think the guy even cares about winning a belt. I'm being honest. It doesn't, in his post-fight interview when he was talking about Aljamain Sterling and all that stuff.
He did no favors for himself.
And he's also not a very big name, but you throw in Henry Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw too, everyone's going to sign up. Everyone's going to be chomping at the bit for that fight. So, Ant W, I actually 100% agree with that theory. I think that's a good theory and one that could definitely happen.
Yeah, Cheeto versus Yan Son winner. I don't care who wins that fight. Cheeto versus that guy makes a lot of sense. And then, you're going to have contenders. Who knows? If Cejudo jumps and skips, then you do the winner of those fights versus each other for a number one contender. The bantamweight division is so fucking stacked, man. It's absolutely ridiculous right now. So I'm very excited to see what happens here. Do you think TJ's going to win that fight?
I do.
You're taking TJ over Sterling?
I am actually. And I love Aljamain Sterling. I'm a huge fan of him. But I think TJ has got the skills to beat.
It's a bad matchup.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why on two fronts. One, I honestly think TJ Dillashaw is the better striker. I know that's unpopular opinion, but I do believe
I would agree with that.
I think he's got more power, and TJ Dillashaw is a really good wrestler. Aljamain Sterling, black belt, crazy jiu-jitsu fiend, really, really good. But if you got TJ Dillashaw on top of you and not TJ on his back, it's going to be a real issue for you. I think that the ground and pound from TJ Dillashaw is going to factor in drastically in that fight. And if TJ can get it on the mats and implement those elbows and really work on that ground and pound, I think he will beat Aljamain Sterling.
I would agree with that. Plus, on the ground game, I'm leaning Sterling on the ground, but we cannot forget about TJ's wrestling. We cannot forget about TJ's jiu-jitsu. He is a extremely well-rounded fighter, and I do agree with you. Matchup-wise, I think he's going to just have a slight edge over Sterling, but it's a great fight either way, so I'm very excited for that one. Ant W also dropped down in the chat. Also, we have Figgy moving up after Moreno fight. See, bantamweight's just going to be getting better and better, especially if Figgy moves up.
In my opinion, it's one of the best divisions. You look all the way through this top 15 and you're like, dude, killer, 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 killer. It's wild, man.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely wild.
Absolutely.
You have Sugar Sean O'Malley at number 13. That should tell you something, right?
Mm-hmm.
That should tell you something. You have Jack Shore, who has lost one fight in his career at 15.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah.
You have Nurmagomedov at 14.
Yeah, right.
Are you kidding me? When's the last time you saw Nurmagomedov at anywhere under 5?
Yeah, Kevin Inspired guys, Jose Aldo retired. Yeah, we know. We're going to talk about that in MMA news.
Yeah, that's big news, but we want to do it justice. We don't want to just bring it up in passing. So we will be talking about that and our thoughts on that a little later.
Yeah, it's an incredible matchup. Just last night's main event was awesome. Cory Sandhagen's still a top contender in this division. I know he came off of back-to-back losses there, but the TJ fight was so controversial. The Yan fight, he looked fantastic, and then Yan kind of tricked people into thinking that he was competitive there.
Yeah,
that's just the way Yan fights, man. He makes people think that they're doing so well, and then he just puts it on them in those last 3 rounds. So it is what it is there. But the Cory Sandhagen, you match him up with any of these top 5 guys, it's a fantastic matchup. It's main event anywhere in the world.
Yep.
It's co-main anywhere in the world, any pay-per-view. So I'm very excited for the future of this bantamweight division. What do we do with Song Yadong, though? Obviously he's going to have to take some time, let that cut heal.
Yes, unquestionably. Still a top 15 guy. Give him Ricky Simone.
I think Ricky should fight up, though.
Yeah,
I'd love
so
to see
do I.
Ricky.
Yeah, so do I.
I was saying Ricky should fight Jose, but that's obviously not going to happen.
Yeah, that will not
But I mean,
happen.
you could do Ricky Simone, Dominic Cruz. You could do Ricky Simone, Pedro Munoz. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could do Ricky Simone, Song Yadong. But I think Ricky's on that point of where he deserves it. But I'm telling you right now, like Song Yadong versus Jack Shore, Song Yadong versus Umar Nurmagomedov, Song Yadong versus Frankie Edgar. If Frankie Edgar wants to come back, he's still in the rankings. So
Yeah.
like, once again, bantamweight. Fucking
Yeah, it
ridiculous.
doesn't really matter. I mean, I feel like Song Yadong matches up really well against anyone in this bantamweight division in any capacity. So, like, I look through this top 15, I'm like, give him anyone. And I'm excited for it, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, you read all of these names, Jack Shore, Nurmagomedov, Sugar Sean O'Malley, I know is taking on Petr Yan, Frankie Edgar, Ricky Simone, Pedro Munoz, Dominic Cruz. I mean, those are all great fights. They're all great fights, man. So, yeah, I think Song is going to be just fine.
Yeah. Kevin's asking, which UFC card are you guys excited for? All of them.
Well, no, dead serious. All of them until the end of this year.
Yeah, they're good.
Until the start of the year. I mean, every single one. UFC 280. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
That I don't think I've ever seen a more stacked card in the UFC in my life. I mean, guys, even the early prelims. Beneil Dariush and Matsuts Gamrot is on the prelims. What are we doing
it's not.
here?
No, it's not.
Yes,
It's on the main card. They
100%.
released the main card. It was on there. It was.
This says right here, prelim card, Beneil Dariush, Gamrot, main event.
That's cap. Fucking, they showed it last night on the UFC. It was definitely on the main card.
Okay,
There's no
Bilal
fucking way.
Muhammad, Sean Brady. Should that also be on the prelims? No, that's how stacked that card is.
That's how stacked the card
Okay,
is,
that's
yeah.
the
Okay,
point
that's a
I'm
way
trying
better
to
one.
make.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
It's
right
ridiculous.
There. You have Chikagian versus Furiat too.
That's on the main card.
That's what?
That's on the main card. That's opening up the pay-per-view, I guess.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the hell this website is then. UFC, update your stuff.
Yeah, they're shitty at it.
What are we doing?
Let's get into church coin bets because we're gonna have a lot of MMA news to get into. But yeah, shout out to both these men. It was a fantastic main event and absolutely kept me. I was very entertained watching the whole thing. But I did take Song Yadong. I did think the power was gonna come through. I mean, he was showing that power a lot. He had a significant power advantage last night. It wasn't working out for the best for him because Cory Sandhagen was just so technical and was peppering him left and right. So I put 2,000 church coin on Song Yadong, and my prop bet was Song by KO 500 church coin. Did not hit on that.
Yeah, I had a Sandhagen 1,000 church coin, got a return of 467.
And you had Sandhagen decision as your prop.
Sandhagen.
Sandhagen?
Decision. Sandhagen.
Foreskin Sagan?
Sandhagen. Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
That was a dumb joke. That was for me. Let's move on to the co-main event. We got Chidi Ninjokani versus Gregory Rodriguez. Another disgusting fucking cut.
Okay, so Gregory Rodriguez
So tough.
is the real deal.
Absolutely.
I have counted this guy out 2 or 3 times only for the simple fact that he looks like a 55-year-old man. This guy is so good. He is so durable. He is so tough. He is known solely as the RoboCop. And there's a reason for it, man. Chitty Bang Bang threw a knee that landed flush on the temple that cut Rodriguez right across the forehead. 99 out of 100 fighters go to sleep with a knee like that. Rodriguez walked through that like it was nothing. His skull was split open. You could see brain matter, and he kept moving forward. This is not a human being. This is a RoboCop. It is crazy, dude. This guy is so durable. He's so tough, and he throws with so much power, and he is unrelenting. He will not quit until he finishes his opponent. Dude, this guy, I'm so excited for. He's only 30 years old. And I'm telling you right now, after a win like this against Chitty Bang Bang, you have to give this guy a top 15 in this middleweight division. You absolutely have to.
Light heavyweight,
You have
yes.
to.
Yes.
Or light heavyweight, whatever.
I would 100% agree. 100%.
I mean, you have to. This guy's so good.
Let's look at the rankings. I mean, bangers every single time the guy fights.
Yeah.
Finishes every single time the guy fights. So I say give him Jan Blachowicz. No?
No, that is a middleweight fight.
Oh, what?
They're middleweights. Yeah, I was right. I was like,
fuck.
hold
I
on.
thought they were
what?
light
Light
heavyweights.
heavyweights? I was like, no, they're not.
Oh, my bad.
Pick it up.
Anyway, middleweights. Yeah, no,
My bad,
but
then.
you can. Yeah, okay. So I just agreed with you, and then I was thinking, I'm like, they're not
thought
light
they were light
heavyweights.
heavyweights. That's just how big they are, dude.
Yeah, no, they're big
fucking
guys.
huge.
They're big.
Like,
They're
both of those
strong.
men, just looking at them, you're like, that's a 205er.
Yeah, but I mean, to go back to that, I mean, like, when you look at Gregory Rodriguez, okay, you look at the top 15. Let's look at number 15, Chris Curtis. You're trying to tell me Rodriguez wouldn't compete with Chris Curtis?
Oh, absolutely would.
100% he would. You look at Brad Tavares at 14.
That's another great fight.
Duplessis at 13. I mean, dude, Rodriguez, I'm telling you right now, you could even slot him into the top 10 in this middleweight division. I think he stacks up well against a guy even like Jack Hermanson at number 8.
Him and Kelvin Gastelum going to fucking war.
Yep. Kelvin Gastelum is a great matchup at number 11. And you know what? After how impressive Gregory Rodriguez has been since Dana White's Contender Series, this guy deserves a top 10, top 15 guy. I'm fine with it. Throw him in, dude. He's invincible.
He's tough.
I'm
He's
thoroughly
durable.
convinced.
That man can go to war with probably anybody in this division and keep it entertaining. I mean, he almost got knocked out a couple times last night. Then came back and overcame every single time. So, I mean, super impressive. I mean, and Chidi is no fucking joke. Like, that's another guy, like, he could even, if he would have got the victory, we would have been arguing for the same thing. A top 10 guy. Yeah. And he could be a top 10 guy in the future in this division.
They call him Chidi Bang Bang for a reason, dude. He puts people's lights out. He just couldn't get it done against Gregory. He couldn't because his chin's just so good. Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Crazy. I think a cut like that would have, like, made a lot of fighters want to quit.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%, man. But that Rodriguez has no quit in him. And I love dogs like that, man. I love dogs like that in the UFC. It's just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, so much fun. Absolutely incredible matchup. It did win fight of the night and absolutely deserved it because these guys at some points were fucking just... It was pretty technical for like the first 30 seconds. Then Gregory gets cracked, almost gets knocked out with a massive punch. Then immediately it was like, fuck it, bit down his mouthpiece and just went to war.
Yeah.
So entertaining.
Second round finish for Gregory Rodriguez. He improves to 13-4 now in his professional career, and I'm very much looking forward to the next matchup the UFC gives him. But they got to give him a top 15 at this point. I think he's 100% ready.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that. Chidi, gets 1 or 2 victories outside. Yeah, he gets it.
Chidi's still great, man. I mean, he's still relatively young, too. 33 years old. He's got a lot of power. There are a lot of really bright moments in this fight for him. I thought at one point he was going to finish Gregory Rodriguez. I thought the knees were beautiful. The clinch work was awesome. He was throwing some really good body shots to the midsection there with those knees. The uppercuts looked really well on Chidi's side. It's just he got a little too exhausted and, ended up losing the fight. But there's not a lot of stock taken away from Chidi Bang Bang.
Absolutely. Let's get into church coin picks. I did take Gregory Rodriguez in this fight, but it was a pick 'em. Like when we made these picks last week, it was a pick 'em fight. It was minus 110 apiece.
Yep.
So I took Gregory. Those are the lines we're going to keep because of the times the bets were made.
Yeah, for sure.
So I put 1,000 church coin on him, gave me a return of 909.
Nice. I put 3,000 church coin on Chidi Bang Bang, and next time Gregory Rodriguez fights, I don't care if he fights, Israel Adesanya, I'm putting money on him. So I put 3,000 on Chidi. I'm joking, a little hyperbolic there, but I put 3,000 on Chidi and lost that one.
All right, let's move on to the next matchup. We have Andre Touchy-Feely versus Bill Algeo. Another great matchup. People were saying this is fight of the night and before the co-main happened. So another great one. Andre Feely, so fucking tough. So fucking tough. Very slick, and it's getting better and better every single time we see this guy fight. His ground game, though, I would still say he's still just a little bit slacking there. Bill Algeo, I mean, Feely took Bill's back.
Yeah.
And then Bill in the third round was pounding
Pummeling
his
him.
face in like this.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen that ever happen before.
It was pretty fun to watch. I got to be honest, that third round was the most entertaining round. I mean, the whole fight was entertaining, but that third round was a lot of fun because I was just thinking, dang, dude, Philly, you got to defend that. And his face was getting all bloodied up. But on the side of Andre Feely, I do feel like he was the more well-rounded fighter, especially with those takedowns. He was fairly successful with that takedown ratio, that rate there. But yeah, man, it was a super close fight. It was a split decision on the judges' scorecards. I guarantee that one judge who gave it 29-28, Bill Algeo, probably gave him that third round because of all those significant strikes landed. I mean, he landed, I think, 40 or 42 strikes in that third round. But ultimately, Andre Feely got the job done. And this was a win that he really needed. He really needed this win. He was on a bit of a skid. He had a draw in between 2 losses. So now he's back on the saddle in the win column, and you got to feel good about that.
Absolutely. Bill, did you agree with the split decision? Like, did you think Bill had a chance of winning that fight? I thought Feely won it, so I agree with the outcome there. But It was a very close one.
Yeah, I thought it was a really close fight, and I was actually okay with the split decision there. I would have been okay if Bill Algeo won that fight, but I'm also not upset Andre Fili won the fight because, like, it was such a close matchup. I thought both guys had really, really bright moments in this fight, and it could have went either way. This was a very, very close contested
That third round
fight.
was very close. I mean,
Yeah.
we were almost arguing, does Bill win that third round because he was pounding his face in while he had his back taken?
And in my opinion, yes. I do think Bill Algeo won that fight because, yes, Andre Fili was threatening with the submission, and at one point he had one submission attempt. Do you factor in a one submission attempt over 40 significant strikes landed in a compromised position? These are the things you have to kind of tally up as a judge. But for me, as an MMA fan watching that, I go, okay, the guy who gets punched in the face 40 times to the guy that tried to submit someone one time, I said, you know what? Bill Algeo won that fight because what is the number one rule in a fight? Protect yourself at all times. That's what they always tell you.
And land more damage.
And well, right. The
I would say he was landing more
protect
damage.
yourself, at all times. And Bill Algeo was clearly, displaying that. So for me, I actually had Bill Algeo win that third round. Comment in the chats, guys. What did you think about that third round? Who did you score it for? I'm very curious to see what you guys had to say.
Yeah, it was a fantastic fight. Fantastic. I did lean Fili, but you're right. That third round probably went to Algeo, and that second round was close. The first round was, I thought Fili definitely won the first round. But, both these men, I don't think either one of these men's stock drops. Fili's not ranked, right?
No.
Does that victory get him a ranked matchup, or was it coming off of a loss in his last matchup?
Yeah,
I believe?
he's lost 2 straight and a draw in between. The no contest.
Or
no contest, not a draw. I'm sorry, no contest. But yeah, so no, definitely not a top 15 for Fili. I mean, he's been around for a while in the UFC. I want to say like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, it has been a while.
But no, I think he needs 1 or 2 matchups before he's in a top 15. Again, with how competitive this was, neither guy's in the 15 yet. So I don't think he deserves one quite yet.
So Chris Lee gave Fili round 3 and 2, but that's the only round or only judge that gave him 3. But I feel like I would have to agree with you guys, if you don't mind me butting in, that
yeah, of course.
He did win round. Yes, his back was taken, but he was doing the most damage I've ever seen anyone do from having their back taken. And Fili wasn't really defending it until the last 30 seconds where they started punching each other more.
Yeah.
I feel like, yes, he was in a compromised position, but Fili just couldn't get the submission there, and he was just working it, and he couldn't get it, and Algeo just didn't sit there. If he just sat there and kind of was just grappling with his hands, I'd understand, but I do think he won that third round, just bashing his face in. I mean,
Cosmo also
there's
gave
blood
it to Algeo.
all over.
Yeah, and I'm really shocked that judge. Who'd you say that was?
Chris Lee gave.
Yeah, Chris Lee. I'm shocked he gave the third round to Fili.
Oh no, Chris Lee's the one who gave it to Algeo.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I actually have a higher regard for Chris Lee.
Your homie Sal gave it to Fili round 3.
Shocker.
Of course he, dude.
Here we go.
Sal, just, bro, this guy can't judge his way out of a paper bag, dude. I'm telling you, this guy is a goofball. Can you judge a single fight right? I'm like, dude, it's crazy. The way he judges fights is just so ridiculous to me. I just don't understand how he's still a professional judge and how he gets away with this. Like, I want to see an explanation from Sal on Twitter immediately. How did you give him that third round? Please explain to me.
That guy doesn't have a Twitter.
You could argue a 1 and 2 maybe.
If that guy has a Twitter, he'd be the most hated guy on Twitter for a very long time. Like,
what a dork. Like, how do you score that third round for Fili on one submission attempt? One submission attempt to 40 significant strikes landed by Bill Algeo while Fili was not defending a single one of those strikes. And they were landing at will. Blood everywhere. How do you score that for Fili? It just does not make sense to me. That does not make sense to me. It's just like, I don't understand how you're a professional judge. It's just, that's so like, and I'm just going to say this and then we can move on, okay? But it really just frustrates me. So if you are in a compromised position, you could pummel someone to death. But if that guy barely survives the round and you are in a technical compromised position, then the guy who has you in that compromised position wins the round. Is that how we're judging fights now? Because if that's the case, then let me just lay on top of someone for 5 rounds. And I don't care if they're elbowing me into oblivion. I'll just lay on him. You know, like freaking Roy Nelson did to Kimbo Slice. I'll just lay on him.
Hey,
what are we doing here? Bro, Sal, figure it out.
I remember watching that Roy Nelson Kimbo Slice fight, and I remember just being so fucking disappointed. Everyone's like, Kimbo's going to go knock him the fuck out, and he's laid on him the entire time.
Season 10, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that Ultimate Fighter. It was my favorite season. You had Shaw, and then you had Rashad Evans and Rampage. Rampage rips the door off.
That was awesome.
Oh, my goodness. Good times. But last night, Sal, figure it out, you idiot.
Let's move on to Church Coin picks. I took Algeo. I did think he was going to get the victory. Feely has just been like touch and go. Like he misses a lot. Like not in shots, but like in fights. Like
some would say touchy feely.
Touchy. You know, he's just an inconsistent fighter. You know what I mean? And he's getting good. Like he's getting so much better in every fight. But like some of these matchups just don't go well for him. And I really thought Algeo was going to get it done. It was a very competitive matchup. But Feely, he did enough in some judges' eyes. So I did take Algeo. In Sal's eyes, yeah. He did enough in the third. Algeo, I did put Algeo for 2,000 Church Coin. Didn't work out for me.
Yeah, you know, I put 1,000 on Algeo. And had I had known Sal was judging that fight, I probably would have went the other way. Mm-hmm. But I did end up losing that as well.
All right. Let's move on to the next matchup. Joe Pyfer and Alan Amedovski. Sorry, I had like a hiccup.
Hey, that's okay. Joe Pyfer did exactly what Joe Pyfer was projected to do. He came into this fight as a heavy favorite, coming right off the Contender Series. I mean, he literally fought in July on the Contender Series this year, and they slotted him into this fight against Amedovski and put his lights out in the first round. A very, very impressive knockout, and just that straight punch, dude, just put him out. Mm-hmm. And I was a little confused. I forget who's judging this fight, or not judging, but I forget who was officiating this fight. But so Pyfer drops him, and you know Alamowski's like looking up, like I don't know where I'm at, you know.
And then he just lands another.
And then Pyfer just looks over at the ref. He's like, "Are you okay?" Just punches him again. I'm like, bro, come on.
Yeah, it was Chris Tione. I was like,
yeah, Chris Tione. Yeah, I was just like, bro, you got to stop that fight. Clearly, he's out. He doesn't know where he's at, dude. Yeah. Like he has no idea.
It was a fantastic,
fantastic Joe punch. For trying to be civil about it.
Yeah, Joe was trying to be civil and all fair. And like in those situations, if he hits him again, I'm not going to be mad at the fighter. It's like, what are you supposed to do? The ref's not going to stop it. So, but yeah, no. Amedovski was definitely out with that shot. I wish they would have stopped it for his own safety, but you know.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Let's go into Church Coin picks. I took Amedovski 500 Church Coin. Russian sounding last name, guys. So that's usually what I go with. It didn't work out for me.
Yeah, I put 100 on Pyfer, coming in at the heavy favorite. Got a return of 23 Church Coin.
Is his nickname Joe Peter Piper Pyfer by any chance?
It should be.
It should be. 100%.
It's a great one.
You can use that, Joe, just for you.
All right. Let's move on to the next matchup. A split decision victory for Rodrigo and Nascimento versus Tanner Bozer. It was 27-30, 29-28 Tanner. And one judge gave it 3-0 to Rodrigo. And then that's interesting. I hate it when it's split decisions and one judge is like, obviously this guy won all 3 fucking rounds. Some fuckery was definitely going on last night.
It is kind of crazy because like, you look at how differentiating these judges' scorecards are. 30-27 Rodrigo. And then 29-28 Bozer. And then 29-28 Nascimento. It was kind of all over the place, but I'll be honest here. I did not pick Nascimento. I'm very sorry for that. I did not pick him, but I did think he won that fight. I do think he won that fight 2 rounds to 3. I thought he did a better job with the wrestling in that top pressure and trying to implement his striking there. And now at 9-1, I mean, pretty impressive career there.
Yeah, he wasn't landing a lot of damage on top though. I mean, do you think maybe that was a factor into why some judges gave it to Boser? I mean, every time he was on top, he was kind of like just like moving around. Boser was trying to shrimp, but couldn't really shrimp out. He had too much weight on him.
Yeah.
Like, it was more of just top pressure than anything else. Like, he was landing some shots there, but I mean, it wasn't the most damage ever.
I am, not to change the subject, but I'm a little worried now about Tanner Boser. I mean, like, do you think the UFC is going to end up keeping him around?
You know, sometimes you need a Sam Alvey. Sam Alvey's gone now, so sometimes you need one.
And I mean, Tanner
No
Boser
disrespect.
he hasn't been horrible. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, I do feel like he's still definitely a developing fighter here. You know, he did lose against Andre Arlovsky back in 2020. He did beat Oven St. Peru, but I mean, a tomato can could beat him at this point. He did lose to Yair Latifi. So I don't know. And now he just lost to Rodrigo. It's,
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe he
And
could've
like
gone.
Tanner Boser is not like specifically good at anything. He's not a
PFL?
knockout artist. He's
No,
not.
he's a 205er, dude. Rodrigo's so much bigger than him.
Well, yeah, if Tanner Boser could just cut 20 pounds, he'd be a light heavyweight.
Absolutely.
And I think he would do a lot better in that division than he would at heavyweight. Because Nascimento came in at like, what, 261? Tanner Boser was like 228? I mean, that's a huge advantage there for Nascimento. So I don't know. I would like to see Tanner Boser try, maybe take a year off and try to go to light heavyweight. I don't think he's a bad fighter at all. And I'd like to see him in the UFC still. He's a Canadian and all. But like, it's gotta be a light heavyweight. I just don't think he matches up well in this heavyweight division.
I would agree with that 100%. He just needs to lose some weight and get in a little better shape and make that weight cut. I think there's a lot of heavyweights in the heavyweight division that should be 205ers. It is what it is there.
It is what it is.
Let's get into church coin picks. I took Boser. I thought he was going to get the victory. 500 church coin on him. Did not work out for me.
Yeah, I also took Boser for 200 church coin. Did not win there.
All right, we did not pick this fight, but we will talk about it a little bit. Anthony Hernandez with the submission in the third round, the arm triangle over Marc-Andre Barriault.
Yeah, I mean, clear and utter domination. By Anthony Hernandez.
Just took him down multiple times.
Took him down, implemented the ground game, outstriking him everywhere. Anthony was winning this fight. It was really easy. Had this gone to the judges' scorecards, would have been unanimous decision 30-27. Not a whole lot to really talk about outside of Hernandez's domination. I thought he did everything he needed to do to win this fight, and I am looking forward to the rest of his career.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move into parlays before we end this church coin. I had probably the worst parlay of my life. Didn't hit a single fight. So if you guys took that parlay to the bank, I apologize. I'm not a financial advisor. So
Well, if you took it to the bank, it's gone now.
yeah, it's definitely gone. So I had Song, Chidi, and Algeo 1,000 church coin. Did not hit a single one of those.
Yeah, well, you and I are in the same boat, Tabor. I did not hit a single fight in my parlay either. I had Chidi and Algeo for 1,000 church coin and lost that.
All right. So church coin totals coming into this next card, which won't be for a couple weeks, but church coin totals as of right now. I started out. Yeah. I went into this week with 10,255 church coin, but I had a terrible week. I literally only hit on the Gregor Rodriguez fight. So I ended up losing 5,591 church coin. My new total is 4,664 church coin.
And man, oh man, if I could just capitalize, Tabor has lost church coin pretty much every single week, but unfortunately so have I. So, I lost 5,710 church coin this week, and now my new total is 2,223.
Doing good, kid.
Yeah, doing good. I'm really just gonna have to put together a parlay, a Hail Mary parlay.
Maybe you're the tomato can.
When
when it comes to betting, yeah, 100%.
When do you want to end this series? Because we only have, coming into this, we have 2 fight nights.
We can end it as soon as I'm ahead.
Okay, sure. Yeah, there's no fight next week, obviously, but we got the Dern versus Jan fight on October 1st, then October 15th, Grasso Rugio, and then the 22nd of October, which is over a month. Maybe we should end it after the Dern card. Want to do one more week and then start over? Because that would essentially be the month of September. Unless you want to end it now and then I defended my belt.
No, I think why don't we just go to 280?
You want to go to 280 with 2,000 church coin?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be bankrupt next week.
No, dude. No, because then it'll get. You only have 4,000, so it'll give us time to really strategize and build ourselves back up because I kind of want to crown the new champion at UFC 280. I think that'd be fun at the end of the pay-per-view.
Okay.
And see how I saw that in there? The new.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, okay.
heard
I
it.
just want to make sure you
Yeah.
caught on to it. But so I would like to win the belt back on UFC 280. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
All right, sounds good to me. Let's move on to MMA news. All right, this was breaking news just this morning. Apparently, Jose Aldo was in negotiations with the UFC to get out of his contract. He only had one fight left on his deal. The UFC did release him from his contract. He is no longer signed with the UFC. He is off the roster. He is out of the rankings, and he is now a free agent, and he has come out and announced that he is retiring from the sport of MMA.
Yeah, Jose Aldo is one of the best to ever do it. His whole entire career, he has just been so much fun to watch. He's been so wrong one, but he's been tremendous. Honestly, just absolutely tremendous in every which capacity. All the way back to that Uriah Faber fight years ago. I remember watching that and just being like, man, this guy's the real deal. All the way, yeah. It's hard to really put it into words like how sad I am that Jose Aldo has finally retired, because he was one of the most dominant featherweight champions of all time. I mean, that legacy that he has will be there forever. And he came so close multiple times in this bantamweight division to winning a undisputed belt as well. I just hats off to Jose Aldo. I hope whatever he does in his career moving forward is makes him happy and makes him a lot of money.
Yeah, so much respect for Jose Aldo and what he's done throughout his entire career. I mean, the dude's not that old. What is he, like 34?
Yeah, he's still pretty young.
33, something like that. So
But you got to remember, he started fighting when he was like 19.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I mean, this guy's been fighting since I was a child.
Yeah. I know. I was
it's
literally
crazy.
14 years old. I'm 28 now. I remember being 14 or 15 years old watching him in what was that organization called? It's the
WEC.
WEC. Thank you. Yeah, with the blue cage and everything. But man, those were good times. Those were good times.
Yeah, so shout out to him for the legacy that he has. Without a doubt, Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. Without a doubt, one of the GOATs of the division, one of the GOATs of MMA. But I mean, now that he's retiring from MMA, is he still going to be in the combat sports world? Do you think he's going to go off and like box, or do you think he's going to do something like that?
I mean, he definitely could if he wanted to. I mean, yeah, as you said, he is 36 years old, but still 36. He's got another good 3 or 4 years. If he wanted to go and box, I don't know who he would box or what he would do outside of mixed martial arts, but I would tune into it.
Ryan Garcia?
You could
Okay,
do that,
I don't want to
sure.
see that. Ryan Garcia would probably fuck him
Probably.
up.
But it, like whatever Jose Aldo wants to do in any capacity, I'm down for. He's done so much for the sport. He is a Hall of Famer. I love him. I love Jose. I love everything he's about, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so whatever he wants to do, I mean, I'll support it. I mean, the dude's definitely not done. I don't think the dude needs to walk away from combat sports, period. I mean, he has been, I think he got knocked out a couple times, right? Or finished just a couple times, but never flatlined bad.
Yeah, well, except the Conor McGregor.
Yeah, except that
he
one.
fell on his face. That one was rough. I did not like seeing that. Petr Yan did beat him in that, it was a 4th or 5th round back in 2020 in that
it was
bantamweight
crushing him.
champion fight. Yeah. So, I mean, he has had a few losses, but I mean, you look at this man's resume, it is so impressive. Wins over Rob Font, Pedro Munoz, Chito Vera, Marlon Moraes. He did end up losing to Marlon, but whatever. It is what it is. Renato Moicano, Jeremy Stevens, Frankie Edgar, Chad Mendez, Ricardo Lamas, Chan Sung Jung, Chad Mendez, Kenny Florian. Are you kidding me? Kenny Florian.
Legends.
He beat. Uriah Faber, Mike Brown, Cub Swanson. The list goes on and on. I mean, this man has won so many incredible fights, dude. He's one of the best to ever do it. I love his career. I love everything he's done. The first fight that he took in the WEC was all the way back in 2008. His first professional career was back in 2004. This man has been fighting for almost 20 years.
Crazy.
That's crazy. That's wild, man.
Absolutely insane.
What a career.
Shout out to him, man. Yeah, he's definitely, I think next year he'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Without a doubt. So shout out to Jose Aldo.
Maybe he'll go play. Maybe he'll
go.
go play football, dude. Because remember years ago he said he was going to retire from MMA and go play soccer.
Oh, maybe.
So,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe that's what he ends up doing.
Yeah, shout out to him. Can't wait to see what the future holds for him. But let's move on to other MMA news. So we did have a boxing match last night. That is why the card was so early. I'm sure Dana was like trying to get out of the Apex as soon as possible.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this. I got to go see the Canelo Triple G.
No post-fight
Trilogy.
interviews. He's like, we're cutting it out today.
Yeah. But Canelo did beat Triple G last night by unanimous decision. And it's a big news in the boxing world. It's a trilogy that probably should have happened a long time ago.
Of course, but this is how they always do it in boxing.
And they waited for
always too late.
Triple G was like, he's past his prime, dude.
He's
40
like 40
years old.
Yeah.
He didn't look that good. He really didn't look that good. It was a masterclass performance by Canelo Alvarez last night.
Well, and Canelo's only improved his boxing skills, where it's like Triple G, it's like Father Time is undefeated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't really like the matchup all that much, but a lot of boxing fans were very hyped for that. I think it was in the T-Mobile Arena last night. And shout out to Joe Rogan. Like, not only was he in the Apex last night, he also went to ADCC, watched all the Jiu-Jitsu Championship, watched the then went to the UFC fights, and then went to this. He did the triple header last night, and I'm very jealous.
That is the trifecta of trifectas right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I bet he had a good time in Vegas.
Yeah, what does Canelo do? Like, is he going to go down as one of the goats of boxing? I think he has to. I mean, obviously Floyd Mayweather beat him and stuff like that, but I mean, other than that, like, the guy is fucking legitimately like one of the greatest fighters of all time. I mean, I feel like it's going to be hard to find Canelo fights, dude. That's probably why they did this Triple G matchup.
Yeah, he's okay,
Yeah, he's all right. He's mediocre, not that good of a boxer. No, of course. Yeah, no, Canelo will go down as one of the best to do it, for sure, especially in this era. But, more power to him. I don't really have too much to say on boxing. This is primarily an MMA channel, and I just don't keep up on boxing too much.
Yeah,
I only pay attention to, like, Tyson Fury and Canelo. I mean, that's essentially it.
Yeah, pretty much. They'll move on to other MMA news. And Ray Borg has chirped up on Twitter and Instagram. He wants to get back in the UFC. He got cut, I think, 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. And he's been 3-0 since being cut outside of the UFC. And he's been tweeting at Hunter Campbell and Dana White saying he wants his job back. Should Ray Borg get signed by the UFC and come back into this featherweight division?
That's a loaded question. I mean, Ray Borg. I feel like Ray Borg is 65 years old. I mean, how old is this guy? Let's see, real quick.
He's only like 30-something.
Ray Borg is only 30-something?
Maybe like 33.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find
Doesn't
his
even
age.
say?
It's wild. No, it doesn't. Oh, born in 1993. Oh, so he's only 29 years old.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's pretty young.
Wow, he's been fighting for a while then. That's crazy. Yeah, he's been fighting, since 2012. That makes sense. So when he was literally 18 years old. I guess, if he's won 3 in a row, let's see what organization, Eagle FC, and UAE Warriors, unanimous decision, split decision. Yeah, sure. Why not come back to the UFC? I mean, it's he fights a flyweight anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, let's bring him back.
And he was a top flyweight when he was in the UFC.
Yeah.
He ran into some bad luck there. Had to fight a bantamweight a couple times. It wasn't working out for him, but he wants back in. And I think it'd be a decent signing there.
Well, and even then, I mean, it's not like his career was awful in the UFC to begin with.
He was a top guy.
Yeah, he beat Luis Smoka and then Formiga, lost to Demetrius Johnson, champion, whatever. And then he lost to Casey Kenny, came back, beat Gabriel Silva and Rodrigo Bontorin, and then lost to Ricky Simone in that split decision. That was his last fight in flyweight for the UFC. Let him come back to the UFC. Why not?
Why not? Let's move on to other MMA news now. So GSP has come out and been talking to the media lately. And he says he has 2 biggest regrets of his MMA career. And that is 2 fights that never happened. That was the Anderson Silva matchup, which before we even get even on anything else, like that was the matchup so many people were fucking calling for. People wanted super fights, and I just think both of these guys were saying no. And now GSP has come out and said that he regrets that.
Oh, I have a great question for you, but go ahead and bring up the second one.
It was Khabib.
Okay.
He really wanted the Khabib matchup. Everyone was saying that was the matchup they were going to make. They were probably going to do 165. It never happened.
GSP said he was. There were those photos that came out 2 or 3 years ago where he did a test weight cut to see if he could make the weight. So, very interesting. I'm going to phrase this question, and I would love to get your answer. Think about it hard. If you could go back in time or whatever and choose a prime GSP against a prime Anderson Silva or a prime Khabib Nurmagomedov, you could only pick one opponent for him. Who would you rather see GSP fight?
Khabib.
Really? Mine is Anderson Silva.
I think Khabib.
Mine's Anderson Silva. Yeah,
I think GSP could beat Silva. I think he could take him down. and beat him on the ground. I mean, we saw what Chael Sonnen did to Silva, and then he's lost by a fucking triangle in the last round. So how crazy was that? But I mean, I think Khabib's a way better matchup in my opinion, just because like the ground game aspect, like that's what GSP does. He takes people down, he fucks them up on the mat. Would he be able to take Khabib down? I don't know, but would Khabib be able to take him down? Maybe. I don't know. I think that's a more interesting matchup in my opinion. GSP though, I think he'd beat Anderson Silva. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yeah, let us know in the chats. Who would you rather see a prime GSP fight, a prime Silva or a prime Khabib Nurmagomedov? Me and Devin say Anderson Silva. Tabor says Khabib. I mean, either fight would have been an absolute treat to see. But unfortunately, neither one ever came to fruition. But yeah, I mean, I don't blame GSP for saying that. Of course, he's going to say that now that he's retired. Anderson Silva's retired from MMA, and Khabib is now retired as well. But those are the fights that we always wish we could have got.
Can I change my pick real quick?
Yeah.
So he could make 170, right? Was that his test before?
No, 155.
He tested 155. Apparently, he didn't like doing it, but he made it. He
so then he could make 170. Okay, I'm changing
170 was his weight class.
Yeah. So I'm gonna switch it to Conor McGregor.
Okay.
Oh, dude, you're just trolling me.
You don't think that does big numbies?
I just don't care about it because GSP beats Conor McGregor.
But
no,
it does stupid numbers.
Conor knocks fucking GSP out.
Get out of here.
It's about money.
Bro, get out of it. No, I'm talking about purist, MMA purist. Like, would you rather see the dominant wrestling of Khabib versus GSP and everything he brings to the table, or a striker in Silva? Mine would have been Anderson Silva just because I like that. I like that fight a little bit more. But Khabib also would have been a great matchup.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Conor can, no, thank you.
All right, let's move on to other MMA news. So Tony Ferguson has been getting a lot of flack since that UFC 279 card. A lot of people are calling for Tony to retire. One of the biggest critics of Tony Ferguson was actually the commentator of that night. Daniel Cormier has come out and said that Tony Ferguson is essentially just a shell of his older self, and the decline that we've seen Tony Ferguson be on was rapid and extremely quick, and he is calling for Tony Ferguson to retire.
Yeah.
And Tony Ferguson did not like that.
No.
He clapped back at DC, said, at least I never had to cheat to make weight. And pretty much champ shit only went on a rant and stuff like that. I'm not going to repeat the whole thing, but he was very upset with DC. Says he has no plans to retire anytime soon. It says he's back and he wants to fight again. Okay,
so here's the thing. I did listen to that episode of DC and RC where DC went hard in the paint on Tony Ferguson. But, here I am actually agreeing with DC. Maybe not the way he delivered it. I thought he was pretty harsh against Tony. I mean, we can be harsh because we're fat individuals who aren't MMA fighters, who don't train, who don't compete. So, you kind of always take our word with a grain of salt and roll your eyes and go, okay, I can't take these fat assholes seriously. And I get that. I understand that. But for a guy like DC, who is a fighter, who is a champion, I thought he went a little hard in the paint on Tony, but I do agree with him. And I do agree with the fact that Tony Ferguson has drastically declined since that Justin Gaethje fight. Tabor brought a great point up a few weeks ago when he brought that up. I'm not taking credit for that, but it is a good point and one that needs to be rediscussed again. He was never the same after that fight. And then you have seen that steady decline in Tony Ferguson where, Tony could get away with kind of that weird, unorthodox, crazy spinning elbows, spinning back fists, weird teep kicks and just the fluidity of Tony worked, but it has completely backslid too much to a point where it's almost sad to watch in some capacity because that's not a prime Ferguson. And he started doing butt scoots and stuff, leading with his butt. I think he was trying to set up the spinning elbows and the spinning back fists, but it didn't come across as prime Tony Ferguson. And, he wasn't winning that fight with Nate Diaz. I thought he was getting outpointed. I thought he was getting outstruck. And then to get submitted with one arm on top of that, it's just not a good look. I mean, we always used to talk about Tony Ferguson being the jiu-jitsu fiend, the one guy that could take on Khabib Nurmagomedov and submit him from his back with that 10th planet jiu-jitsu. And now we've come to a point where he's getting submitted in a guillotine choke with one arm. So, for me, yes, I do agree with DC. The steady decline of Tony Ferguson's career and where he is in this top echelon at 38 years of age, I do think it is time for Tony Ferguson to step away and retire and or take on legacy fights, maybe do fun fights. I think one in particular that I brought up a couple weeks ago would have been like Clay Guida versus Tony Ferguson. I still think is a lot of fun.
Do Jim Miller, you could
or
do
Jim
Joe
Miller.
Lozon.
Yeah, Joe Lozon. There are matchups for him, but at this point in his career, I don't want to see him take on top echelon anymore.
I agree with that. I'm not going to call for him to retire though. I mean, what, 37 years old, correct?
Yeah, 37 or 38. I know Nate and him were 37 and 38, but I don't know which one was which.
I think he could just do fun fights. Like, let's just do fun fights. Like, you know, if Tony wants to go out there and fight Conor, you know, get Conor his victory, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with Tony making a bag.
I think Conor smokes Tony.
Probably. You're probably right. But I mean, am I going to say, no, Tony, don't take that? I don't want to see that. No, dude, make your money. Like, I'm not going to call for him to retire. I do think that's just, it's a wee bit disrespectful, but I understand. Like, we're just such big Tony fans. Like, we don't want to see him go out there and get outclassed like that.
So, yes, that's where it comes from with me. Like, I'm not sitting here being like, oh, Tony, you're worthless.
Yeah.
You're a terrible
You're Sam
fighter.
Alvey. Is he the next Sam Alvey? No, I don't think so.
Dude, I mean, let's keep in mind, like, and I bring it up every time, and I'm going to bring it up again. Tony Ferguson at one point was one of the best lightweights in this division with one of the most impressive win streaks you will ever see in one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC, in the prime of its UFC, okay? So Tony Ferguson will be a future Hall of Famer. He does deserve the respect from the fans. We love Tony Ferguson. The reason why I bring this up is not to condemn Tony. It's not to troll Tony. It's not to hate on Tony. It's to say that, like, I don't want to continue seeing him lose in the way that he's losing. That's why I said I'm not calling necessarily for his retirement, but I'm saying either retire or take on Legends fights and do more of the Clay Guidas, you know, the Lozons, the Jim Millers. But he's just not at that point in his career anymore where I want to see him take on Dustin Poirier or a Justin Gaethje or a Beneil Dariush or a Charles Oliveira. You get my point. You know, that's all I'm trying to say is, like, we're past that point now.
Yeah,
so,
I get that.
Fun, entertaining fights I'm down for, but I just don't want to see him take on the top echelon anymore.
Yeah, I would agree with that, 100%. Yeah, shout out to Tony, though. Like,
But
still
yeah,
a
we
fucking
love
legend.
Tony. Yeah, El Kukui, man. Like, and I was so excited to see him fight again. I love watching Tony fight. I do. And I hope I did not come across as disrespectful. That's not the way I was trying to.
I don't think you did. But yeah, DC definitely came off as a wee bit disrespectful there. And I think he definitely took it as disrespect. That's why he fired back so harshly to call DC a cheater and stuff like that.
Right.
But, you know, it just...
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I want to see Tony, like, make money. Fucking go do the Conor fight. I know he's probably going to lose, but whatever. Make your money, my guy, and ride off into the sunset. That's what I say. Yeah, so let's move on to our last little bit of MMA news. Bryce Mitchell did have an announcement. He had a fight announced. So he's actually going to fight another undefeated fighter in Mosar Evelev. I think it's a fight night.
Yeah,
Or it's a pay-per-view. I don't remember. I'm very excited.
I love this matchup. I love this matchup. But I will say Bryce Mitchell has said some questionable things already.
What did he say?
Oh,
saying some shit?
It's
Can't repeat
something
it?
that I am not repeating on this podcast.
Okay,
Yeah,
you tell me
I'm
off
dead
air.
serious. We cannot repeat it on this
Tell me
podcast.
off air, 'cause
Yeah,
I'd
I will
love to
tell
hear
you.
it.
Yeah. You guys look it up. It's pretty wild. It has to do with Evelev's religion and stuff, and I'm just not touching that subject right now. On YouTube, you just never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be interesting. There's going to be some bad blood there, and I'm all for it. You know, I love the way Bryce Mitchell fights. I love the way Evelev fights, too. They're both very dominant wrestlers and grapplers, so this is going to be a really, really good fight. I'm excited for this. Isn't this supposed to headline, too?
Is it a main event?
Is it a main event of a fight?
I don't
night?
know. 9 and 10 is a main event. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. They've done that before.
I mean, I'd be all for it.
I'd be all
honestly.
for it. I love Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah.
Like, Thug Nasty is one of my favorite fighters in this featherweight division. And he's so many times he gets these matchups like, oh, fuck, Bryce is going to get fucked up. Like, even the Edson Barboza fight, like, Edson Barboza is going to be too much for Bryce. And then he just goes out there and crushes him. So, very good matchup. Very excited for this. Two undefeated fighters going head to head against each other. Very excited. Cannot wait for that one. Big Bryce Mitchell fan. Big Mosar Evelev fan. And I think it's a fantastic fantastic matchup. The winner of this fight is probably going to get a top 5 matchup.
Sure.
If not top 5, top 10. It's very hard to move up in this featherweight division. I mean, Arnold Allen has only been fighting killers and killers and killers, and now he finally got his freaking Calvin Kattar fight.
Man, we got to talk about that fight too.
Yeah, that got announced too. Yeah, Arnold Allen,
so
Calvin Kattar.
Excited for Arnold Allen versus Calvin Kattar, man. That's going to be a barn burner. It's going to be a striking matchup like you've never seen, and I guarantee you that fight doesn't get out of the second round.
Oh, for sure.
I'm serious, man. And Arnold Allen is so impressive. This guy, I really do believe will be a future champion one day, without a doubt. I mean, 18-1. He's still so young too, man. I think he's only 28, 29 years old.
Something like that.
I'm so excited for his career, and I can't wait for that fight.
It looks like they announced some fights for that fight night. The Bryce Mitchell and
Evilov?
Evilov.
So it is a main event.
Looks like it. Yeah,
I thought it was. Yeah.
Looks like the co-main is Amanda Lemos versus Marina Rodriguez. I think we called for that fight. I'm excited for that.
I love that fight. I love that matchup.
Rodriguez still isn't getting a title shot.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Damn.
Under that is Mario Batista versus Benito Lopez.
That's a good fight.
Nate Mans versus Tagir Ulanbekov. Ramona Pascal versus Tamiris Vidal. Jin Yufrey versus Poliana Viana. Carlos Caldarellaro versus Jake Hadley. And then Miranda Maverick versus Shanna Young.
That sounds like one of those cards where you look at it on paper, you're like, it's mid-range.
It's going to be banger.
Yeah,
and it's
gonna
really
be an
fucking
absolute
good.
banger,
Yeah. So, shout out to that. I can't wait for that matchup. Both those featherweight matchups, absolutely fucking fantastic. All right. We did an hour, actually.
Wow. Powerful stuff.
Powerful.
I have to use the potty, so let's wrap this.
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Okay.
That's what we do here, guys. Even if we don't have a preview show, we are professionals. We still go an hour. You get what you paid for or what you didn't pay for. But if you watch an ad before this podcast, you paid for it.
Please pay for it.
As
Please
always,
pay for it.
guys.
Yeah, $2.99 a month, guys.
Yeah, once again,
help
guys.
us out, please.
Memberships.
I'm doing a big remodel. We're going to be in a new studio at the start of next year, probably in March or April is when the remodel will be done. So we could use your support of $2.99 a month.
I need to feed my family. It's been 10 months, and these guys have not paid me a dime. Please.
Yeah. But guys, I'm serious. We got a lot of big things coming for this podcast in the future. And I'm so excited to get this remodel done. We're building a giant studio where we're going to have plenty of room for fight companions. We'll probably throw a couch in there. It'll be more of a hangout
Couch
center.
cam?
We're going to have a couch cam, a Ken Dog cam. It's going to be awesome, guys. We're some big things are coming for next year.
Couch cam?
So stay tuned.
That's pretty cool. Is it going to be like a black couch and
Well,
stuff?
right. It'll be more of a cast couch. We'll call it cast couch. Cast couch.
Oh, we
cast
could get Cash in there. Cash's casting couch.
Yeah, the cast couch.
Cash's casting couch.
There we go.
I like Triple C. There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Cosmo said #justice for Devin.
Viva La Devin. Let's go.
Viva La Devin. F's in the chat for Devin. So, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you share this podcast, this live stream, the Fight Companion from last night, anything, the audio-only podcast, because we are on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, any of those audio-only platforms. Guys, share those on your social media accounts. It really helps us grow. It really helps the congregation get bigger. And we really appreciate the fuck out of each and every single one of those things you guys do. As always, join the membership, $2.99 a month, exclusive content. You get exclusive emojis in the chat, exclusive font next to your name, and you could build that badge up to a black belt, baby. So let's go.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, and Cosmo said casting couch with cash?
With cash? Well, it'll come into play. That'll be fun.
It is what it is.
It's going to be a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah.
Like Mason said, a lot of things coming in the near future, guys. We're going to have a lot of big announcements. There is no fight next weekend, but we are going to be in studio just hashing some things out. We might have some announcements to make, if not next week, maybe the week after, or, stay tuned in the next coming weeks, guys, because we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about and a lot of things to announce. And, there's going to be a lot of big changes coming. So very excited for all of that. As always, everybody, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, at The Church of MMA. If you aren't following us already, make sure you guys go and do it. We're posting funny memes, trying to make you guys laugh. Hit us up.
Yeah, thank you guys again for supporting, watching, and listening to the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That is Tabor Craig and Devin Davis on the ones and twos. Are you kidding me or what? And until next time.
Peace.